at the mixer. Ready to go. Apparently there's a car show tonight at the local Gyros. I heard a lot of cars peeling out, and I was thinking to myself in the neighborhood, like, what the fuck and all that. But now I know. I don't really think Houston, Texas was known originally for, Fast and the Furious type activity, racing activity. Not necessarily. I don't think that Houston was known for that. That was more like a Indianapolis kind of thing, or California. It wasn't known as Houston, Texas at first. Wasn't known as like a Fast and Furious, Grand Theft Auto type of universe. But as Houston has grown and become more urban and that lovely word diverse, it's turned into more of a racing urban culture, I think. So. But that also means that Houston, Texas will not only become a Fast and Furious Grand Theft Auto thug kind of culture, but it also means that there will be a lot more hazardous and dangerous racing going on, like they have out in California, which isn't so great, but... It's all a good time until you die. Pest control is done. We did all our closets and got the combat and the raid. We didn't have an infestation. This was more precautionary. We don't have any ants or roaches. The only spiders we have are like brown, not recluse, brown, like daddy long legs, like those. We have brown spiders, but not recluse, not the ones that kill you. They poison you. The brown recluse spider. It's kind of like the poison eats at your skin, and then it atrophies. Yeah, until it finally kills you or cripples you or shit. It's pretty bad. But the brown recluse spiders, they're bigger, they're muscular. They're not like those daddy long legs ones. These are like some old like house spiders, like really chilled out, mellow. I don't have arachnophobia, by the way. Though I would be concerned if I saw a brown recluse or a black widow, though. Or if I saw a tarantula. I kind of like spiders, but I don't, keep them or anything. That would be kind of scary to have a big ass tarantula on you, though, huh? Like a big hairy crab on you. That shit would be kind of freaky though. Those tarantulas, they kind of look like those the face huggers from Aliens. That is kind of creepy. At least they have eyes. The things in Aliens don't have eyes. I think it's creepy when a creature doesn't have eyes, when it's just like limbs and shit. If it's just appendages. At least if it has eyes, you can look back at it. I was gonna do the, like Grant Harden, The Fugitive. I had an idea for the title of the video. I was gonna call it Die Harded. So I still might do that one in the future. Die Harded. Ooh, that's a good one. Die Harded. I like it. It's gonna be funny though. It's gonna be like Die Harded, and then I'm gonna put like an apostrophe at the end so that people will get the joke a little bit more. Die Harded. After my favorite series, one of my favorite action terrorist thriller series with Bruce Willis and John McClane. I was thinking about one of my favorite lines the other day was when the terrorist thinks he has John McClane pinned down by his bullets. He's underneath the table in the Nakatomi Plaza in the first Die Hard, and he's like, "Next time you have a chance to kill someone, don't hesitate." And then he goes, bah, bah, bah. He kills him, and he goes, "Thanks for the advice." Next time you have a chance to kill someone, don't hesitate. Or I do like the Wesley Snipes, like kind of Die Hard and on a plane. Passenger 57. And the Russian guy, he's like, "Have you ever played Russian roulette?" No, I'm sorry, it's Wesley Snipes, he says, "Have you ever played Russian roulette?" And then the bad guy, terrorist, he says, "On occasion." He goes, "Always bet on black." He slams the phone down. That's a good part. I like how he says in his Florida accent, he's like, "On occasion." On occasion. Oh, happy birthday to fellow Geminites. Yes, Clint Eastwood, happy 95th birthday. 31st, not my birthday, May 21st. So 31st. Happy birthday, Clint Eastwood. 95 years old. Man, that's when you know the sun is really setting, huh? Dang. No, it's cool to live long, yeah. Live long and prosper and all that. I wonder if he's going to try to make a movie at 98 or something, you know? Be wild. You damn kids. You damn kids with your internet, your fucking computers. Oh, I can't wait to see it. You need to get off the fucking computer. go work in the plant. Like my grandpappy. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Can't wait to see. I can't wait to see the next Clint Eastwood movie at like 96. You punk ass kids. You punk ass kids in your internet. Yeah, that'd be a funny one, man. I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see the next Clint Eastwood movie coming out. It's gonna be a banger. Gonna be a fucking banger. I can feel it. So, yeah, when you're young, it's like Dirty Harry. And then when you get older, elderly, it's like, uh-oh, Harry's dirty. Ooh. Oh shit. Now the tables have turned. Or the tables have turned. No, actually, somebody I'm really proud of is Michael J. Fox. You know, that he had that crippling disease. And then, like, he's probably wanted to commit... He's had Parkinson's disease, incurable disease. There's probably, like, so many times when he wanted to commit suicide when he fell down on his ass repeatedly over and over again. And I bet there were some, you know, really tough days struggling with Parkinson's. And some days he would just be falling on his ass. And I mean, that sounds like... Sure, other medical conditions hurt. You know, we're getting shot a few times. We get stabbed 4 times. Yeah, all that shit hurts. But, you know, yeah, cancer, whatever, you name it. It's not a fun. COVID-19, all that shit's not fun. But I'll tell you what, that Parkinson shit, though, that is some serious fucking shit. You know, like, you can't control your muscles, or you're like, that shit. Man, that is awful, isn't it? Yeah. Hopefully they find a cure for that. ALS and Parkinson's disease. That is atrocious disease. So I really think Michael J. Fox is a hero, you know, for just dealing with the shit, for, you know, trying to live longer. So what a hero. Yeah, the sign that I was truly a former 1980s kid, born in 1980, was that my first concert was Huey Lewis and the News and the Bangles. So I'm glad about that. Gonna go back in time. Yeah, that's great shit. The power of love. Yeah, the whole Huey Lewis and the News. Yeah. Maybe they tried to, Christian Bale and American Psycho, they tried to scar me with that, with the Huey Lewis and the News when he's going to kill Jared Leto. And when he starts talking about the different Huey Lewis and the News records. I don't know what all the records of Huey Lewis and the News are. I just know the one that's, you know, uber famous, which is called Sports. Is Huey Lewis even really that talented? He's a guy with the pretty cool, like, one of those husky voices. You know, like a, I don't know. It doesn't sound similar to Bob Seger, but those guys that sing with that, like they smoke like 5 jillion cigarettes. Like they smoke 4 packs of cigarettes a day. but somehow they're still able to catch their breath and sing. Yeah, I guess you can be a smoker and a singer at the same time. It's just not, you know, can't be huffing it that much though, right? Smokers, like David Bowie was a smoker for a while until he had his heart attack in 2004. So, but for most of his life, he was banging out fags. He was banging out, cigs. And so, I guess you could tell in his music a little bit, but maybe he wasn't a chain smoker. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just like a thing, like, oh, I'm gonna have a cig. Like low. Yeah, Huey Lewis never seemed like he smoked. I don't know if he did, but he had that voice that was just masculine and husky, and the songs weren't even really that good. It was just like some kind of like rock and roll, mainstream pop crap. I mean, most of it actually. It's not that great, but he had a band and he had a unique voice and had some hits. So he was big in the 1980s. So he's kind of he's what they call synonymous with the 1980s, right? Yeah. And of course, Back in Time in the 1985 Back to the Future. So yeah, that's coming up, the 40th anniversary of Back to the Future, July 3rd, 1985. What was I doing on July 3rd, 1985? I was, preparing for kindergartens. So that's what I was doing. I was preparing for the arduous task of kindergarten. I was learning about the stop and go and the neighborhood, the apartments. And it's like when you're a kid, you have to figure out even where you're at. It's such a, like when you get older, you're like, oh, I know exactly where I'm at. Like I know what city I'm in. I know it because, you don't have dementia yet. You don't have Alzheimer's yet. Hopefully. So, but when you're a little kid, you got to figure out, like, where am I? What is this world about? Like, who am I? Like, there's so many questions when you're a little kid. It's like, man, very daunting. Like, where am I on this map? Who are these people? What do my parents do? What is this and that? So many questions. So many questions, like children often do. What are all your thoughts on God? Oh, I really like to meet her. Yeah, that was like a big hit back in the day, huh? I guess I made a mistake. I thought that song was deep. What are all your thoughts on God? When I was younger, I thought it was deep, but the older I got, I go, oh, that's not very deep. That kind of sucks. I'm a sucker for crappy pop, though. I really am. I'm a sucker for some cheap ass pop. I will tell you that. Definitely, some cheap ass catchy pop. Stove to get a beer. maybe I could use photographic memory, not just to remember things, semantics, people, places, or things. Maybe I can also remember colors and sounds as well. Yeah, there's probably a lot of different possibilities for it, I think. So, yeah, I could remember sounds too. Let's go to this beer store. Go to the beer. Ding, ding, ding. Hey, yeah, I'm heading out now. Da, da, da. Love you. Dun, dun, dun. Huh? Oh, she finally went? That's good. I'll be back. Time factor. Where are we at? Oh, my bad. I didn't flip the can. Now we got it. Okay, so apparently there was this big... Oh, the cops are here. There's a big party. Okay. Keep it on the down low. Yeah. Alright. Teenagers are partying. Okay.
Why? Yeah. Where's the other guy? Is he on vacation?
No, he has to go to New York.
Oh.
So he'll be back.
Lots of luck with that, I guess. New
Yeah,
York.
for him, yes.
Not my favorite place. Upstate though, it's a whole different world. Those are good people. When you get north of New York City,
Yeah.
it's a whole different state.
I have to go. I have to check it out someday.
I'm the only one.
Hello.
Alright. You paper or plastic?
Just plastic, please. Oh, he's in New York? Oh, wow. Oh, he's in New York for a week?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
$9 bottle. Oh, wait, no.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
Thanks, sir.
Dun, dun, dun. See, like, that's one of my favorite things is that, is that a cycle? Let's see one light, so it's probably a cycle. Oh no, he's out of a headlight. The cop left, so I guess the event's over. I guess they shut it down after 10. I love that guy because he's driving a car from like the fucking 1970s or something, or maybe 1980s. Maybe, I mean, he's that old guy. Like he's driving like an old ass car. I love to see like an old ass vintage car like that. And I know the guy's like 70 or something. Maybe he's a little bit younger, but anyways. He's probably like a lonely dude, and he might have had a great job in life. He might have a nice house or something, but you know, maybe his wife is dead or something. So like going to the quickie store is like the most exciting social experience that he probably has right now. I've seen that guy like a million times before. I just really love that like old school shit. Like that guy. That one guy, I haven't seen him in a long time. The dude that was training the new dude. Man, he got fat. He grew some fucking man tits. But anyways, he's got a pot belly and like dude tits. What happened to you, dude? Anyways, a lot of people struggle with the weight after 40, so I'm not gonna say shit, but including myself. So I'm not gonna talk shit. Still. I ain't talking shit. I'm just making hits. Hell yeah. Hey, love you.
Did you get one or two?
One.
Oh,
Yeah, the rest on Lotto.
good.
For my plan. Love you too. I ain't talking shit. I'm just making hits because I'm legit. Yeah. Yeah, it was like there was a cop park waiting to bus people. And I saw some teenagers.
Where was? I figured it.
Oh, yeah, the cop.
Where's the cop? In the parking lot?
He was in the parking lot and then he
Of the
left.
store?
Yeah. Then he left. And I saw teenagers.
Yeah, but I noticed on, I think Friday, Saturday nights, there's a cop, he parks here in the store, but also he hangs over at Oak Moss. And I saw him coming back, or maybe it was Thursday, I went to
Yeah.
the store. He was sitting there for a while, then he left, but then he was hiding back on Oak Moss. And when I was coming back from the store, he was pulling a car over.
Oh,
He
yeah.
came hauling out of Oak Moss, taking a right, and I'm coming, I have to pass them. And they pull in that first street before the convenience store, and I pass them and throw it in. When I went to the store.
Yeah, it looks like the party's supposed to shut down at 10, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's what I figured. There was no cops to be found, and maybe nobody knew about it, but I know that, because a lot of them were peeling out and making really a bunch of noise. I mean,
Yeah.
pulling butt.
Right.
Like, I pulled in to check the post office box, and I was afraid to pull out because people doing U's and then
Oh.
trying to go to park in that place, or a couple cars just hauled butt in this lane because they were getting over to turn in, and they just hauled butt,
Oh, my God.
with their loud cars going, "Rrrr." Yeah.
what were the songs? Oh. Oh, that's funny. I never heard her singing the songs before. Huh? Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. What? Oh, like garage sale? Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, is she a good singer? Champonians. Prepare. She could sing good? Really? We might have to get her on the karaoke one night. Might have to get her on America's Got Idol or whatever. America's Got Talent. All right. Let's fill up the boot of destiny here. Das Boot of destiny. The vessel. Get that head on it. Get that beer head. The hops and the barley and the malt wheat and the ooh. It's on like Donkey Mom. Check out the bubbles on the beer and the fizzles on it. Check out the chemistry. No. Yeah. It's like in the. It's like.
Is it in the Gulf?
Huh?
Is it on the Gulf side?
No, it's on like now here's. Remember, we went to Pensacola. Here's Tallahassee, and then we go down to Orlando's down here. Remember, Tallahassee is past Pensacola and Destiny. You'll see what I'm saying. I think I'm right.
It's close to Jacksonville,
Yeah,
right?
it's going towards Jacksonville.
Tallahassee, and then, oh yeah, Tallahassee is on the Gulf side.
Yeah,
But it's not on the Gulf.
Yeah.
You gotta drive down to it.
right. I remembered it correctly?
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
Jacksonville's on the, that's the Atlantic, right?
Yeah, that's Jacksonville.
Jacksonville is on the Atlantic,
Yeah, on the Atlantic, right.
and the Pacific is in California.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. The Gulf of America. I mean, it's so strange.
Yeah. Unchained. Ain't nothing stayed the same. At first, I didn't know it was called Unchained, the Van Halen song. I thought it was Oh Change. Ain't nothing stay the same. Oh Chain. Hit the ground running, change. I thought it was, I thought Van Halen, that song was called Change. But it's not called that. It's called Unchained. As I was going to find out. But do I like my version better? Well, I guess it makes more logical sense if the song goes, "Ooh, change, ain't nothing stay the same." Okay, we got Bella's barking. Barking down.
Not getting any food.
Hey.
She's not getting any food.
Oh yeah, you're not getting any food, Bella. Food time's over. You have to eat your puppy chow.
Yep.
Champonians? Well, we in the champion forest, we are some of the greatest Champonians in the history of man. Now, they did have that movie called Mystery Men with Greg Kinnear, and he's like he's like the superhero of Champion City. What do they call him in that movie, Mystery Men? They call him like Ultraman or some shit. Ultraman. Kind of BS like that. Welcome to Champion City. Where all the Champonians. Die Harden. Yeah. Will he die in a shootout with the police, or will he disappear in a cabin? I don't know. Well, I think a fugitive could go into hiding and maybe thrive and survive for years and years, perhaps. But I think. Man, it's all about the resources, baby. So, man always is cognizant. We use those big boy words again. A man is always cognizant of his resources, whether they're low, whether they're negative in debt, or whether they're okay, or whether they're, abundant. So, a man is always aware of his resources, whether they are great and mighty or whether they are low and pathetic. So, Die Harden. Yeah, they said that Grant Hardin could evade capture because he was a former police chief and he knows about police tactics. And they said maybe he could evade capture from the U.S. Marshals, the FBI, Arkansas state and local law enforcement, all that. I don't know. They say, oh, well, he could evade capture because he knows about drones. So does your knowledge of drones, does that make you, able to evade law enforcement capture? I don't know. Yeah, did he have a plan? Sometimes maybe somebody has a plan to escape, but they don't have a plan after that. Did this guy think of a grand plan, and authorities are looking at if he has help on the outside, like giving him resources. So, somebody gave him a shack and hooked him up with some food and a place to lay low and all that stuff. Is one of his friends and family members hooking him up, in other words. Hot Lips Houlihan just died. The actress who played Hot Lips Houlihan. The show was really kind of before my time, even though it was during my time. It was a show that, you know, I believe my friend's stepfather was a Korean War veteran. And he'd be playing that shit. He'd be playing MASH all the time. And I suppose, what did it run from? Did it go from 1972 all the way to, I don't know, 1985 or something? A long ass time, right? Yeah, I mean, a wild amount of time. So by the time I hit kindergarten, I really wasn't into MASH. But I realized that a lot of old timers, they were into MASH. Maybe they went to the Korean War or something like that. I thought the show was mildly amusing. I was never really into it. Like, you know, I can't wait to, like, I wasn't taping all the episodes. I wasn't waiting to see the next one or anything. But that Hot Lips Houlihan, that actress, that's a sexy ass chick. You know, she's really like, Hot Lips Houlihan is like really the first, like, she's really like the archetype, like the first Jennifer Coolidge. Like the hot, like, MILF you want to, like, have sex with. Like the blonde with the big knockers, like, you know, makes you think naughty thoughts or happy thoughts, whatever way you look at it. Hot Lips Houlihan, rest in peace. Yeah, MASH. I know that was a big movie in 1972, and then I never even seen the movie. Never even seen it with Donald Sutherland and someone. I know the characters for some reason because they all have these like nicknames, like Radar and Hawkeye and, you know, shit like that. So Hot Lips Houlihan, they all have, you know, like these funny nicknames. Like, I guess, like maybe like Full Metal Jacket, the guy's called Matthew Modine. He's called Joker and all this stuff. So. Do people in the military always get nicknames? Hey, there's Joker, and there's Hot Lips, and there's Hot Tits, and hey, look, it's Radar and Echo, and look, it's Data, and, you know, I don't know. I just know, you know, oh, it's Maverick and Iceman and Top Gun 1986. Look, it's Laidless. Can't get no pussy. Ha, Laidless. Hey, look, it's Incel. They have like funny, in the military, they come up with funny nicknames. Hey, look, it's Dyke. Have a fun time with that. There was a guy on MASH that would crack me up. It'd be the dude trying to get out of the military all the time. And he'd be the guy dressing up like a woman and acting like he was crazy. But that guy was funny. Cross-dressing to try to get out of the military. That might get you promoted in today's military. No, the Biden-Harris administration was defeated. They started to throw that shit out. She-males and trannies and all that bullshit. Cross-dressing and promoting LGBTQ plus IA lifestyles over traditional lifestyles, I think, is over in the military. Though I always thought if they had like a transsexual wing of the military, of they're not called hermaphrodites anymore. They're not called are they called transsexuals anymore even? They're called some shit. What are they calling these days? The transitioned or the mentally ill and confused. Yeah, I know. Somebody was asking me one night. Do you agree with Alice Cooper that I'm sorry. They call them the transgenders now, right? So at first they call them hermaphrodites, and then they call them transsexuals. Now they call them transgenders. Okay, whatever you call them. But it's new terminology for a new decade. They'll probably change it something next decade too. They'll be called the Transformers. Transformers, chicks in disguise. Chicks that look like guys, Transformers. Yeah. Dudes in disguise. Yeah, that'd be a great one. Trans, it just means through. Trans-Siberian Railroad. Trans-medium travel, just means through. Transylvania. Does that mean through? Transylvania? I don't know. If it has its Latin roots, maybe it does. Where Count Fagula comes from. I mean, Dracula. Count Fagula. Count Dracula. Oh, that's better. I'm Count Dracula. I guess the Korean War was one of the first proxy wars after World War II of the military industrial, pharmaceutical, technological, media, state media propaganda complex. Yeah, one of the first ones, the Korean War. I guess the generals, like General Douglas MacArthur, were unaccustomed to this new type of warfare that just wants to bleed blood and treasure, but not gain victory. So it was like warriors used to fight for victory, for total and complete annihilation of their foe, their enemy, to conquer their enemies completely. So this new kind of war called proxy wars must have been devastating for somebody like Douglas MacArthur or General Dwight D. Eisenhower, who had fought wars, for the sake of victory, blood, teeth, sweat, and nails for victory. And now the system's telling, no, you can't invade North Korea because then we'll have to go to war with China. No, we can't do that. And then so likewise in Vietnam, the Americans were told, no, we can't attack. Oh no, we can't attack North Vietnam. Then we have to go to war with China or Russia, Soviet Union. So we had to fight all these proxy and limited wars. Well, we can't just annihilate our enemies. Now, I thought the point of war was to annihilate the enemies. I didn't think it was supposed to be to make an arms industry exorbitantly wealthy in perpetuity. Yeah. So I thought the goal of war was to win. Silly me. Silly me. I guess that's an old way to look at war or conflict, is like, I want to win whatever battle or whatever challenge I'm facing. Or a state or a country wants to win any challenge or battle that it's facing. Any government, any people. So, yeah. But war has not been symmetrical in a very long time, since World War II. War has been for arms profiteering and for Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Boeing, etc. War has been for a permanent arms industry, the military industrial, pharmaceutical, technological, state media complex. So it's been that way for the past 80 plus years. So now part of this reservation by our leaders to go full on into battle, to conquer our enemies and adversaries, it could be, mutually assured destruction, fear of the nuclear bomb, and annihilation of the human race. That could be something that is limiting successful, victorious wars, where you defeat your enemy decisively and in a humiliating fashion, like they used to do when they used to just do total fucking ass whippings on people who challenged America. And so. Would I like a return to total and complete ass whoopings of America's enemies? You know, we haven't seen that in 80 plus years. It might be time to have total and complete ass whooping of America's enemies and humiliation and suffering to America's enemies. It might be time, you know, to do that. Yeah, sure. It might be time to throw down the gauntlet. I'm not a war lover. I'm not a war hawk. I'm not a neocon. But it might be time to scare America's enemies and scare them good and scare them hard and punish them harshly. It may be time for that, though. Yeah, I think so. Otherwise, we look weak if we don't punish our enemies. If you don't stand up to a bully, then the bully will just treat you like shit over and over again. But if you give a bully a black eye, then he thinks twice about attacking you again. Then you got his respect. You got the respect of fear. So yeah, I saw Secretary of Defense Hegseth's what he was talking about in the Asian alliance against the bully called China, and Tulsi Gabbard, the current director of national intelligence. What does all this noise, all this rhetoric say to me? It says to me, and all these sanctions on China and all these tariffs, it says that war is about a year or two around the corner against China, I think. That's what it sounds like to me. I would not be surprised if we were at a full war with the Chinese Communist Party by 2027, at least, if not before that. When the news comes, when the news comes that we're going to war against the Chinese Communist Party or Iran, I'm not going to be fucking surprised. Not one iota. You could see this coming. You could see this coming from miles away. And if it doesn't happen, then great. But if it happens, not going to be surprised. You know, either way. So what are the wars fought over today? Is it still about global domination? Well, obviously, I guess that's the central point of war is total, complete domination, right? Domination of your enemies and adversaries, domination and control of the planet and all the people. So that would be the, I suppose, supreme purpose of war. Second, to steal resources and to make your particular nation, state, or empire extremely more powerful by obtaining greater and greater resources. So that would also be a goal of war, like a positive goal of war. I mean, objective of war. Another potential objective of war is to destroy your adversaries and enemies at all costs, to make sure they're not a threat to you, your people, and your family, and your friends, and your community, and your nation, your people. So that would be another point of war. That's why that's why nations and men and women go to war. Yeah. Survival and protection of their own people. Their way of life, their heritage, their culture, their language, their government, their mode of government, etc. So defense, resources, destruction of adversaries. These are reasons to go to war. Yeah. Okay, you say maybe in the proxy military-industrial complex era that the goal of war is to profit from arms, to profit from death and bloodshed, to profit from warring activities. So that could also be another goal of war, is to profit from death, doom, and destruction, and the selling of weapons, of devastating new weapons and development of weapon systems. Okay, that could also be a goal of war as well. So maybe the goal in that kind of war is not really to win, but to sell as many arms and to profit from the arms industry as much as possible. So that could also be a goal of war, is to not win, but to sell greater and greater weapon systems and keep that war machine going. Having a beer. What if I was going to write a country song? It would be like, no, that's a C. Having a beer. Having a beer. Having a beer. 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 That's how the ancient Egyptian pyramids were built. Beer. That's how your daddy got laid. Beer. That's how Milwaukee got paid. Beer. Beer. That's how your daddy got laid. Beer. That's how babies got made. Beer. That's how the pyramids got made. Beer. That's how America got made. Thank you, Benjamin Franklin. Ooh. Beer, yeah. Ooh. Beer, yeah. Beer. What, you think your parents fuck sober? Ha 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 ha. Woo. Yeah, right. You think people had sex sober and created children? They were fucking changed. They were fucking shipwrecked. They were shang wasted. So the generals back in the day that used to fight and throw everything into a war, they were baffled after World War II, the military higher command, because they were instructed not to go all the way and defeat the enemies and defeat communism. They were told to stop at the midpoint between South and North Vietnam, and they were told to stop between South and North Korea. And the U.S. military commanders were like, why? We could just wipe everybody the fuck out. Why don't we just defeat our enemies totally and completely? Why let them just fester like a boil? What are we doing? Right? So General Douglas MacArthur and old school generals of the U.S. military, West Point, Dwight D. Eisenhower, General and President, were baffled at this new, deep state arms industry that did not have any interest in winning wars, but just having them. Astounding. So, you have a war just to sell weapons to gain profit from weaponry. But there's no point to them. As long as you have the next one, it's fine. It could be anything. It could be anywhere. It could be Russia, Ukraine. It could be Vietnam. It could be Korea. It could be Iraq. It could be Afghanistan. It could be in Venezuela. Wherever there's injustice, and there's a lot of cruelty and injustice, and you could just say, hey, we're having a war because we need a new war. And they'll just continue the process over and over and over and over. And eventually we've noticed this pattern, but they're still going to fucking do it anyway, even if we notice this fucking bullshit pattern, right? So it doesn't matter that we recognize the pattern. The point is that we are almost powerless to do anything about it except for voting and, those democratic methods of supposedly free society and of a constitutional republic. That's the only recourse that we could actually do as citizens to actually wield any real power is to vote. So for our leaders and stuff to get accomplished. So most people think, well, we got to win. Yeah. Like America has to win the wars. Like America has to. Like there is no other option. We can't just have wars for the sake of it. We can't just have people dying just for the fucking sell weapon systems or whatever. We can't have that just continue for, what is the Russian-Ukraine war? It's like 3 years in. I mean, I guess Raytheon and Boeing and Lockheed Martin, they're getting very wealthy. And Northrop Grumman or whatever the fuck it's called. But we're not getting wealthy. We're getting jammed up the ass. So, and all the Ukrainians are dying. All the Russian people are dying. I mean, it's just like, or they want to turn this into a new fucking Vietnam. That where the weapons industries get very, very wealthy. And America and Ukraine and Russia gets bled out. Fuck that. I mean, if that's what they're planning to do, fuck that shit. Yeah, fuck that fucking bullshit. Who's supporting this shit? No, I mean, it's only a certain elite group of the deep state and Democrats and the liberal global world order which are actually supporting this shit. Most people are not fucking on board anymore. Maybe they were in the the brainwashing days of the Biden-Harris administration and the ruinous, destructive Biden-Harris administration. But people are like, oh my God, the more they know the truth, the more they're horrified by it. And so it's disgusting and it's evil. I'm no tree hugger. I'm no peace lover. I'm no fucking pacifist. But there is a right and there is a fucking wrong. And this is fucking evil and it's fucking wrong. And it can't be supported for that long. Torah. Fire, fire, fire. No, I'm sorry. It means not fire. It means attack, attack, attack. Torah. Japanese in World War II. Right. Yeah, my mom asked me, what was World War I all about on the fly? And I hadn't thought about it since college history class. And I confused the Alliance and the Russian side because I confused the Central Powers with the Triple Entente. Because I was confused at the alliances because I'd focused so much on World War II so I looked it up again, I reread it, and I was like, man. Or totally, because there was the communist overthrow in 1917. I'm sorry, there was the Tsar overthrow in 1917 in Russia. So I confused the triple. Sometimes I call it the triple entity. I know it's not called the triple entity, but a lot of times I call it but it's really called the Triple Entente. That's the Allied forces and against the Central forces. So, anyways, but World War I is a very complex modern war, or the early beginnings of a modern war in the beginning of the 20th century. So it's a very interesting war, to say the least. Yeah, it's very. But the thing about it, remembering every part of it, it's very complex. So there's a lot of moving parts and everything. Yeah. I got the fact that the Germans and the Austro-Hungarians were on the same side. And so I got that part right, at least. It's called the Triple Entente, not the Triple. It looks like Triple Entity, but I just want to call it Triple Entity because I'm a weird motherfucker. That's why I like it. So I just want to call it Triple Entity because it's exciting for me to call it that. That's why, not because it's actually accurate in the vernacular syntax of it. Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of concerts, a lot of shows in Houston, Texas. But I will say, going to those Austin concerts, oh man, that was a totally cool vibe to it. Yeah, those Austin concerts, they got a fucking vibe going on. You know what I mean? They used to have it in the Austin concerts like a community vibe to it. It used to have like a people vibe to it. It wasn't. Maybe Houston, it's so big, sometimes it gets impersonal, like New York or whatever. It gets impersonal, like where it's like everybody's like a stranger and it just gets it sucks. But maybe in Austin, you start to get to know people. It's still impersonal. It's still a big city. It still sucks. But you kind of get more of a communal vibe, I think, than you used to in Austin, at least back in the day. So... But they used to have this venue in Austin called The Backyard. And 20 years ago, I went to it. And it was, it was in going towards Deer Creek Skyway. And it was off 71. And this, I mean, like in the hills, going towards the hill country in Austin, and it was like everything was on a hill, man. Everything was hilly. It's got a hilly environment to it. So if I'm from Houston, Texas, everything's flat. I go to Austin, it's like going down hills, up and down, up and down, up and down hills. Because it's hill country, right? Because you're in the fucking hill country. That's why there's hills. That's why they call it hill country. Because there's not just hillbillies, but there's hills. All right. There's gold in them there hills. All right. But this one had like trees and the hills, and it was got kind of like Central Texas isn't a drought. It's not a desert, but it's kind of arid or semi-arid. It's not like a totally tropical environment like Houston. It's not a swamp creature's dream like Washington, D.C., where the swamp creatures and the establishment live. Was you like doing that? Yeah, that was fun. Just going, ah. Yeah, it was, kind of vampirical, but I kind of enjoyed it. So I guess when I originally went to Austin, I went to Dobie Tower, where my friend was studying chemical engineering at University of Texas. Went when we were 18. It was about October 1998 or whatever. And so he gave us, the basic tour of Austin. We went to Chewy's, we went to Stevie Ray Vaughan, went to Dobie Tower. And anyways, but then my aunt and uncle, my aunt Julie loved Willie Nelson in Austin. So she tried to make a business with my uncle in Austin called Austin Technical. And then so they gave me a job and my mom a job out there, like about 2005, about 20 years ago. And yeah. But Chris Miller had introduced me into Jethro Tull. And so since the day he introduced me into Jethro Tull, I was a huge fan of this English artist called Jethro Tull, led by the flautist and singer Ian Anderson. And so from England, and I was big into it after he introduced me to that. So I bought Jethro Tull Past Masters, and I loved it. I started listening to the records, bought Aqualung, and so I was really hyped because it was like 18, and then Jethro Tull was coming to the Backyard, this amazing Austin venue, and man. Yeah, so it was like Friday night. I finished up the work. I worked at the Austin Technical Shop. It was called Oztech at my aunt and uncle's business. And I finished the warehouse and inventory. And I finished, I'm pretty fast at computers. So I finished all the typing and all the insurance and all the statements and all the shit I had to do for the work. And so it's Friday night and Jethro Tull's coming to town, baby, with Ian Anderson. Yeah, so I'm going to the Backyard. The old Backyard. They made a new one, but it's not as cool. The old one was like on the hill and had like forests and it was mystical. And this new one, kind of blows penis ass or whatever, or an ass and a penis with shit on it or something. But I don't know, but ass with a penis with shit on it. But you know what I mean? This new shit sucked, and the original shit was fucking dope. So I get my ticket, I go there, I listen to the radio, hear Ian Anderson. I'm listening to Ian Anderson on the radio, I've got the CDs, I'm jamming, I'm getting fucking pumped. I'm about to see this, I'm about to see one of my favorite artists like live, right? And then get there. So I entered the old Backyard in Austin, Texas, the venue. And yeah, I did a little primer. I got a little Captain Morgan's, a little Coke. I got a little starter pack going on there. So I was already kind of buzzing when I went in, but I wasn't like totally fucked up. I wasn't like fighting people or fucking, hitting people in the face or some shit. I wasn't like cursing and acting all. And I wasn't like so fucked. I was sipping on my shit, so I was sipping on my rum and Coke. So it wasn't like when I got there, I was like totally shit faced and like I wasn't fucking like fighting people and fucking cursing and fucking, I wasn't making an ass of myself. I had my shit under control. So then it was dark and all the people were waiting. And then all of a sudden, boom, it was Ian Anderson. He had his flute, he had his leg up in the air. And all of a sudden, all those people in Austin, they went and lit their fucking bud up, their fucking, their marijuana. And it was like, I was like, oh shit, I didn't even have any weed. I thought I was going to get fogged out. But I was thinking, man, this shit's awesome. Because it was like Ian Anderson, he had his flute. It was so iconic and he had his leg up. And it was like the trees and like the fucking hills and shit of Austin. And you had all these hippies around. They had all these like fucking hippie people with fucking beards. And it was almost like fucking going to Hobbit, like with Gandalf and shit. I mean, this shit was wild. You know what I mean? So I was happy to be there. Yeah, I was really happy about it. Oh, they gave you a free Jethro Tull album with your ticket purchase, and all the charities went to the homeless. And then when I was standing in line to try to get in, yeah, what happened in there? Well, I'll tell you what happened. They gave us this free disc, which was like live. It kind of sucked because Ian Anderson was already like super old, but I mean, I still liked it anyway, even though he wasn't in his prime anymore. So, I mean, that dude has been old like since, the fucking 60s. I mean, the guy was like super old by 2005, right? So, but I didn't give a fuck because I thought Ian Anderson was fucking really talented. I don't care if that dude's like in a wheelchair on fucking life support going, no, I'm just kidding. I don't want to see a dude on life support perform. I'm just joking around. But would I like to see a guy on life support singing? I'm on life support. And he's got like tubes and shit. I don't know about that. Let's take it a little bit too far. You know what I mean? What if he's like in the hospital bed? I'm on life support. I don't know if I want to see that, but it might be cool. Maybe the Rolling Stones. Can you hear me dying? Ooh, or something. That'd be pretty cool, dude. No, not really. Just kidding. But then, can you hear me dying? I just was thinking something on the fly. I was making shit up. That just happened to work really well. Can you hear me dying? Oh. That was good on the fly thinking right there. Yeah. But and what was crazy about the Austin concert is everybody sparks up their weed like in synchronous fashion or what? No, synchronic. No, it's not synchronicity. It's synchronous fashion. Is that? No, synchronicity. The synchronicity of their weed smoke. It was like everybody, like when the light went down on Ian Anderson and he had the flute and it was like, and then the bud, like the weed bong smoke was like with the kind bud, shit was I was like, I thought it was 2005. I thought it was Osama bin smoking or something. That shit was crazy. Yeah. Osama bin Token? I don't know about that. I thought it was a terrorist bomb. I really thought it was like, I was like, who put out the gas? Like, is this the terrorist gas attack or some shit? I was like, holy shit. No, you're just in Austin. It's not a terrorist gas attack. There's a marijuana, it's a THC attack, bro. It's a dope attack. Yeah. It's ganja. It's the ganja bomb. Yeah. The ganja bomb. That's what people like, I think. Hey, what's up? Yeah, love you. Alright, alright. She'll be okay. She's just wondering. It's alright. Yeah. Bam. 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 With the Jethro Tull down. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's why do people like Jethro Tull so much? Why do they like Ian Anderson and Jethro Tull? I think I don't know if Hispanic people like it. I don't know if black people like it. I don't know if Asian people like it or enjoy the music. The music's, psychedelic. It's kind of, it's rooted in deep classic rock. It's very English, and so those of us of the Millers and the Wheelers, we might identify with the English experience, the English culture, the Anglo-Saxons, the old English folk music. And that's what Jethro Tull embodies, is the old English folk, European folk music, and people get really excited about that. I don't know, Jethro Tull was able to make a career out of English folk music mixed with classic rock, and that was a very unique combination for the time. So he was able to, carve out a niche that was embracing the new, but also remembering the old at the same time. So the culture reciprocated and appreciated that he was moving forward with the technology and the music, but he was also homaging the past and our origins and our people and our ethnic and national origins. So, our heritage, in other words, heritage. What does that mean? Heritage is that we came from something before. That's basically all it means. That entails the language, the culture, the recognition that we came from something before. Not just our mom and dads, but them also way back. So parents and grandparents and people before. So that's the continuity. The heritage is the origin. It's the past. It's where we come from. Shall we turn on the tube? Listen to some Jethro Tull music? Yeah, I'll give you a taste of it. Kind of stuff I was listening to back then. Yeah, it's very fun music. I know Aqualung deals with... Now, my friend Chris Miller was a devout Christian, still is, probably to his death. They said the Christians say they fear death. They don't fear death because they think they're going to heaven. So religious people, they say they don't fear death. But on the last day, I wonder if that really holds true. I'm just saying. They talk a lot of smack about not fearing death. But on their last day, when they're in pain and agony and about to croak, their mortal coil is leaving them, are they going to have so much faith then when they're broken down physically? Well, we'll see. We'll see if these warriors are so strong at their end when they're weak and broken. Huh. But I don't disrespect their faith, but belief is, after all, what keeps us going. So it keeps all living things that think going anyways. Animals just automatically do things until they die. But human beings have to think about their existence. They have to contemplate their lives. And so they must calculate purpose and belief, or what they would call magically and mystically faith. It would be disappointing if the Christians I knew at 15 didn't believe on their deathbed when they were old and crippled and dying. That would make me sad. It would. You know what? You know, it'd be really depressing if a Christian who said, "I'm a Christian devoted for life," and they said, "Oh, I'm an atheist now." That would really fucking chat my ass, right? That would really scare me. Like, oh my God, I thought this guy was devoted his whole life. I thought he was a devotee. I thought he was committed. You know, they have those T-shirts that say, "Commit for life, commit for life." That's what I hope. That's what I was hoping. The Jews and the Christians and the Muslims and the religious, the Buddhists and the Hindus were like, commit for life. I hope they wouldn't waver in their faith and their belief systems. Well, not all of us can be saint pilgrims, I suppose. Maybe some people thought that Jethro Tull was a Christian band, but it's not awful like Christian rock. It plays with ideas of God and existence and faith and lack thereof. It plays with ideas in a way that's fun and kind of exciting. So it plays with, it's not like, oh God, I can't mention infidelity. I can't mention somebody drunk. I can't mention somebody high. I can't. It kind of mentions what the kind of genius of Jethro Tull is that it definitely has a spiritual and a Christian theme and a message, but it kind of brings everybody in. That's kind of the genius. It's not like listening to Christian rock and you had your Christian friends that listen to Christian rock and they're like, Jesus, I love your soul, and you're like, oh God, that's awful. Oh God, that's awful. Because it's awful. Christian rock usually is God awful. It usually is. Jethro Tull was able to create a Christian kind of rock, or classic rock, a folk English rock, that was able to mention controversial topics, but draw everybody in like you're a part of the brotherhood of the Jethro Tull. So they're able to bring you in to God without hammering, not making you sick from the message. That's kind of, I guess that's the genius of Jethro Tull, is that they're able to bring everyone in. They're able to acknowledge the flaws of man and to bring people into it, and without acting like they're trying to convert you to Christianity or Judaism or whatever. They're able to do it very cleverly to get you excited about classic rock, and there's, teachers that are having sex and there's getting drunk and all this stuff, but it's like the genius of it is that it gets you in, because there's all these exciting characters and things going on. Oh, did I not sub to Jethro Tull yet? How crazy. Also, in the old days, most classic rockers wouldn't play the flute. That's really what sets them apart as well. And there's epic quality as well. Poor man, a beggar man, a thief. If he had a rich man in his hands, from a laughing baby's mouth, would he steal it from the moneyed man? Cross-eyed Mary, always plays the game. Drops her off at school. Playground, no kiss from little boys. And so go and press on. The playground, no kiss from little boys. But she always plays the game. The expense account grew. Barbara drops her off at school. There you go. Benefit. That's excellent. What's coming? Name's the teacher. Oh, that is what I call myself. That I must impart to you. It's an old expression. but I must insist it's true. Hating everyone, capitalism holds this bird is flown. Took a journey from my worker to the sea. The teacher who had fun instead of me. Suntan drinking and lying there in bed. I can't seem to find
Booking.com has all kinds of stays because some love a sunny resort, others not so much.
Alright, we'll do a remaster. It's ready for it now. Thick as a brick, Jethro Tull.
Really
We don't mind if you sit this one out. My words but a whisper, necklace and shout. Make you feel, but I can't make you think. My sperm's in the gutter, your love's in the sink.
So you're right.
And then over the fields, you make all your animals deals. The men don't know how it feels to be thick as a brick. As the virtues swept away in the time of destruction, the moral melee. Plastic retreats brings the close play. It uncovers the newfangled way. thrown at the heels and it rapidly peels, and one friend don't know how it feels to be thick as a brick. And the love that I feel is so far away. Bad dream, but I just cannot. Hey, 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 hey. And you shake your head, say it's a shame.
Spin me back down the
Years and the days of my youth,
draw the lace
and black curtains that shut out the whole truth.
spin me
Down the 8 pages and sing the songs. Oh, that's like extended jam. Alright. Alright. Sitting on a park bench, eyeing little girls with bad intents. Down his nose, greasy fingers here in shabby clothes. They act alone in the cold sun, watching as the pretty panties run. They act alone. The dead duck spitting out pieces of his broken lung. Oh, Aqualung. Sun streaking cold, no man wandered lonely, taking time, he knows. Hurting bad as he bends to bank the doggins. Feeling alone, the armies of the road, and a boat, a cup of tea. Aqualung, my friend, don't you start away uneasy. Oh, son, you see, it's only me. You still remember December's foggy freeze, to your bed like game in agony. Deep sea giant sounds, and the flowers bloom like madness in the spring. Sun streaking cold, an old man wandering lonely, taking time the only way he knows. Live bad. Ovation and a boat, a cup of tea. Do-do-do-do. Aqualung, my friend, don't just start away uneasy. Oh, son, you see, it's only me. Sitting on a park bench, eyeing little girls with bad intent. Everybody knows, greasy fingers, shabby clothes, Aqualung, in the cold sun, watching as the pretty panties run. Hey, Aqualung, feeling like a dead duck, spinning out pieces of his broken luck. Hey, Aqualung. My riff is pretty excellent. Oh, Aqualung.
Talk to your door.
I know the English, but some people like something more Japanese. Chisato Moritaki, new season. I love how the bass player looks like the Tokyo subway bomber. He looks like the subway bomber. was sarin gas. Sarin gas explained. Alright, so this cult leader used sarin gas. Well, we'll do SciShow. That'll be fine. Why it's banned? Acidic nucleotide.
Chemistry can be pretty great. It can also be really, really, really useful. I believe
Yeah,
that
obviously.
science is like a hammer. It can be used to build or to destroy. I hate that it is sometimes used to destroy, but humanity is a difficult force to control. Today on SciShow News, we discussed sarin gas, the nerve agent
Sarin
that
gas.
was used in the recent attacks in Syria.
Yep.
Okay, so we tend to think of our muscles as being actively on and inactively off. But in fact, both the on and off stages require an active step. When you tell your muscles to flex, acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter, floods around your muscle cells, telling them to contract. When your brain tells the muscles to stop contracting, the acetylcholine has to be removed. This is done with acetylcholine esterase, an enzyme that breaks down the acetylcholine into its constituent parts, allowing your muscles to relax. These steps occur every time you flex and relax any muscle in your body, every blink of your eye, every time you click a mouse, every beat of your heart. Last weekend, the UN confirmed that the Syrian government
Did I do it?
Agent sarin on civilians in Damascus last month. Sarin kills by bonding with acetylcholine esterase, completely changing its physical structure. With the enzyme non-functional, acetylcholine is thus never removed, it never breaks down, so instead of muscles flexing and relaxing, they can only flex and flex more and flex more. Everything from your pupils to your fingers cramp, completely rigid. The muscles burn with exhaustion but cannot relax.
What the fuck?
The pain is terrible. If enough of the agent enters the bloodstream, usually through lungs or skin, it will cause cramping of the diaphragm, which locks the lungs in place, and the victim will asphyxiate. Sarin was created in Germany just as World War II was breaking out by scientists attempting to create pesticides for use in agriculture. But with the war, it turned out to be
Holy shit.
a dream agent for killing. It's odorless and colorless, very volatile, meaning that it evaporates quickly and so can easily enter the lungs. It kills quickly, and unlike traditional warfare, it doesn't damage infrastructure. This has led to sarin gas being called the poor man's neutron bomb. Great at killing every living thing and leaving everything like power lines and buildings and water pipes left for the invading army to use. The one good thing about sarin, when compared to other chemical weapons, people who survive attacks tend to fully recover. Other classes of chemical weapons like choking agents, which can permanently scar lung tissue, and blister agents, which yes, are as bad as they sound, can leave people permanently and painfully disabled. Sarin also degrades quickly after use. In fact, its shelf life is so short that it's often created from precursor chemicals on the ground as it's used. Soon after being used, sarin breaks down into harmless chemicals, and weeks after an attack, it is impossible to determine whether the gas was ever even present. In this case, though, UN investigators were able to detect traces of sarin using gas chromatographs and mass spectrometers. We know enough about our nervous system now that we have developed antidotes that can block sarin from interfering with enzymes, but they're only effective when taken immediately after exposure, which is generally extremely impractical. Sarin's effectiveness in killing and the fact that it kills indiscriminately and in a very painful way is why it has been classified as a weapon of mass destruction and banned from use in warfare. We at SciShow, and also I assume all other sane people, agree that banning chemical weapons makes sense. I feel personally offended every time chemistry is used to kill someone, but I don't get to choose the moment in time in which humanity stops being terrible. I just get to keep hoping for it, I guess. Thank you for watching this episode of SciShow News. I guarantee you that science right now is being used to do great and amazing things and not to kill people, and we'll talk more about that next week. If you want to keep up to date on the science of the news, you can go to youtube.com/scishow and subscribe.
Right, okay, good. Let's get a primer for that.
The Bush guy.
There was a... Oh, 1995. That was 30 years ago. Right, exactly.
7:45 a.m. Rush hour, central Tokyo. 5 men board 5 separate subway trains. At 8 a.m., each man pierces plastic bags, releasing sarin, one of the most lethal poison gases known to man. 13 people die a horrible choking death. Hundreds are injured.
It was a nerve gas attack on the nerve center of Japan.
The mastermind behind this assault was a religious guru who said that the world and everyone in it could only be saved if they were first destroyed. But
What?
how did this happen?
What?
And why in
What kind of
Japan?
cult? What kind
And
of
could it happen?
cult leader is that? It's not like a. Yeah, this seems like a messy. Now, as if I was a cult leader, now could I say like, well, the only way to cure the world is to kill everyone. Anybody want to join? Probably, usually not. I can't believe he was able to find so many recruits. Amazing. What? I thought I could do a cult with Andrew Tate. Let's get some money and pussy. Now that'd be a cult a lot of men would be on board with. Money and pussy cult. Money and pussy, bitches. Now that's a cult I think people could get into, you know. The whole destroy human race. I don't know if that's a cult that most people get into. I mean, it doesn't sound like a cult that would rock the charts, right? What the fuck is this shit? Ugh. Ran out of beer? We're running out of beer. Yeah. We're running out of brewski? That's the problem, dog. Listen to the story of the sarin gas
March
attack
20th,
in 1995
was a day
Tokyo,
that
30 years ago.
terrified a nation and shocked the world.
Look at all that Japanese pussy. Oh, look at all that bush, that dark bush.
For some,
Why do you want to stop that? Keep it going, baby.
Shizue Takanashi was at work when she heard that there'd been an incident on the subway where her husband
Keep that hairy bush going, baby. You know what I mean?
かかってきているうちに主人が病院に搬送されたということで
Takahashi in the house.
その病院に向かいました主人が、車内に残されたサリンが燃えたその包みを車内から取り出してホームのところに置いてそして、濡れたものを拭き取るために
Yeah, it's kind of weird because most people, if you're like a English language guy and you study Russian or Japanese or Chinese or even Spanish, like you understand the nouns, but you have no idea what the verbs and what the what is the weirdest thing about language is that we understand like the names and we understand the greetings, but the hardest part is learning how they're speaking. Like we could learn anything in a foreign language. Their greetings, their whatever. But the hardest part of language is learning how are they what are the expressions that are unifying the language? That's the hardest part. It's not like what the color is, it's not necessarily the nouns that are the problem, it's the verbs. That's the hardest part of learning a foreign language is how are they talking? Like how are they saying what they need to say?
すでに主人がもう冷たくなっていました。
Japan, long considered one of the world's safest societies, was thrown into a state of shock. That shock was intensified when it was established that the attack was carried out not by hardened terrorists, but by a religious
That's weird. That dude is like Charlie Manson on steroids. It's like Charlie Manson met Jim Jones and went to Japan. That's a wild fucking
was a
deal.
nearly blind 40-year-old
Crazy.
yoga teacher who called himself Shoko Asahara.
Okay. And I call myself
It's very
Holy Lord Pimp G nigger. Oh yeah.
ambitious, obviously.
You know what? I call myself Jesus of the world.
He was manipulative to the
Nice.
extent that he had a
All right.
power which
Charismatic power.
do things.
Now, does anybody see that blind motherfucker with sleepy eyes and with his crazy homeless beard and think, oh, that's a charismatic guy. I'd like to follow him. Maybe in Japan, but not anywhere in the world. It's a ditch kind of deal.
Asahara's
fucking nuts,
critics
dude.
dismiss him as a devious fraud.
要するに同時に教えているのは純粋な人
Religious scholars argue that Asahara may have been both a con man and at the same time part of a long tradition of inspirational spiritual leaders.
The people I talked to who were members of old invariably said he was, they felt a real charismatic power, and they all said he was soft, warm, and compassionate.
しかし宗教的な言葉を言う小さな人らだなと思いました。
Asahara had convinced the men responsible for the gas attack on the subway that the only way to save the rest of the world from falling into hell was for all non-believers to die, so that they could then be reborn. In the beginning, it was all very different. Om used their own animation to present a public image that was innocent, perhaps a little childish, but essentially harmless. Asahara offered his followers a ragbag of ideas, drawn from Buddhism, Hinduism, and even Christianity, all coloured by his love of science fiction and comic books.
そして来世より正しいが転生したいと考える人は証券会まず思ってよいいね
I just wanted to be
At first, the wider public regarded Asahara as an intriguing new religious leader.
ワイルドっていろんなこと言ってますけど、そういうトークがうまい。あるいはオウム真理教っていうのはそのヨガをやってましたので、そのヨガは昔から伝わってるものをいわばパクリですよね。導入してる。
Yeah, it's
Akitoshi Hirasu joined Om when he was just
Akitoshi Hirasu. Are you following the story of the sarin gas attacks? Man, I'm really excited about it.
それでも存在してきた意義っていうのはやっぱりオウムを経験してきたものだからこそ
だからこそ
これオウムの克服で
Priyanka
そういうのを残すことが本当に
is Bill Gaga.
してる存在になるんだと思ってやって
Everybody excited about the Japanese language? Hell yeah.
Asahara's initial appeal lay in his ready answers to some of life's eternal questions.
Yeah, he's the master of life's eternal questions. Like, when will I fart next? I was always wondering about that. Let's have a fart.
それをうまく説明してくれた存在が唯一
You ready for Champonian? Here's the Houston Astros. This is a champion one. I guess my stepdad got this from me,
Japan's
but
bubble economy had made it the envy of the rest of the world.
this is Champonian style.
Generation, questioning the emphasis
In Champions,
on
Texas.
material riches
You know what I'm saying?
rather than spiritual growth.
The spiritual growth of the existential question and the
saying that the real meaning isn't in the material but in the spiritual. And
That's really enlightening. Things aren't in the physical; they're in the spiritual. Oh man, that's a fucking enlightening cult leader. I think I'm gonna give that cult leader all my allegiance after he says that. That's great.
Being contaminated with bad karma. The more bad karma you had, the worse your rebirth would be, and the longer you could spend in hell.
Wait, he's Buddhist?
このままでいいのかなと。社会はこのままでいいのかな。
Iko
あるい
kana.
は自分の家族
What
は
it?
それでいいのかな。
I wonder when they're like Jesus Deske. They're like Iko kana. I wonder what they're saying because I hear that like, but I don't understand what it means.
何をそう従うという何を支えに何を目標に生きていける。
I guess if I listen to Japanese more, maybe I'd understand what they're saying.
Selected the public consciousness with this photograph, suggesting that the yoga master could float in the air.
The yoga master could float in the air? Okay. Well, here's probably how I won't join your cult if you say you can float in the air. So if you have Luke Skywalker powers, I'm probably going to be like, no, you can't float in the air.
Suggesting he too
Yeah.
could fly.
So if you say you can fly like Superman, I'm probably going to be like, that's probably not realistic,
To
dude.
his young followers,
Yeah.
there was
I'm probably not going to be your cult member because I'm be like, that's crazy. So if you're like, I can fly, I can float in the air, then I'm gonna be like, maybe I don't need to send money to this guy. You know what I'm saying?
But behind this
He
public
did that da do do da dee dee yaw yaw. He's like a cartoon where he can fly and shit. This guy is like more intense than Charlie Manson. This guy is crazy as shit. Batshit. This guy is so nuts, man. It's like amazing. I almost admire this guy.
Unless you do
Almost.
spiritual practices, you're going to go to hell.
To avoid
What
going
the
to hell
fuck?
and to rid themselves of bad karma, devotees were expected to cut off all links with the outside world.
Uh-oh.
実質的に出家した時にはもうほとんど無断で飛び出てしまいましたから後で家族の間では相当トラブルになりましたね。でもそれを振り切って出家してしまいましたね。
Asahara also exploited an explosion of interest among young Japanese in Nostradamus. the
Oh, Lord.
who centuries
He got people to
predicted the exact
think
date
that Nostradamus was real.
ひょっとしたらノストラダムス
They almost got me when I was young too. They almost got me on Nostradamus. Like, was there a prophet from the ancient France?
でまあ
It's like,
その解決
you know what?
オムナンの打ち出しをしていたっていうのも
There's no such thing as prophets.
魅力的だ。
Now,
There's no such thing as fucking wizards.
reinforce the message of
Yeah.
the end of the world may be
There's no such thing as
may be coming at the end of the
God
20th
either.
century.
Sillies.
And you then
I know it sounds so funny. They're like, oh, there's
it's an open
prophets,
invitation
and there's
to
future seers, and there's gods, and there's wizards, and there's all this magical shit.
Devotees were expected to push their bodies and minds to the limit.
All this.
一般的に見ればすごく大変なことだったんだけど、みんなはそれによって修行が済むんだとみんな言い聞かせて
What it is, they exploit our fear of death. Religion exploits man's fear of death. Politics, they exploit man's fear of death.
Devotees
The medical establishment, they exploit man's fear of death.
which was then
Media, they exploit men's fear of death. Are you recognizing a pattern here, guys? Are you recognizing a pattern? The pattern is every system of human order exploits our fear of death.
worse to come.
That's it. That's how they control us, our fear of dying.
One young disciple
If they didn't have that power, if we didn't fear death,
his legs.
their power would be worse shit.
Centuries old
It's true.
yoga practice. Normally,
But every system of society is organized to make us fear death.
So it would take years
But if we
for
didn't
a
fear it.
practitioner to then do something.
Think of how powerful we would be
Now the process
if we
is
didn't
quick.
fear death at
So
all.
in the matter of a few months.
What if we just accepted
and
it?
then can result.
Well, then they wouldn't be able to control us that well.
Very dangerous.
But we're well controlled sheep and animals because we do fear death naturally.
So they say, what should we do?
Yeah, so they're pretty impressive at controlling us because
to get through them.
most men and women and children fear
And then die.
death and die.
Suddenly.
If we didn't fear
This
it,
death happened just as On was trying to secure charitable
they couldn't
status
control us so
as a
well.
new religion from the Tokyo Metropolitan Government.
They don't want to say to the public, oh, by the way, we've just killed one of our followers in our practices, because that isn't going to make the movement popular and it's going to cause all sorts of problems.
Asahara has to come up with an explanation for the death to fit in with his teachings.
The only way he can attain enlightenment is to shed his body under the guidance of the guru, of Masahara, and then maybe he can be reborn somewhere and then do it again. As far as we know from later testimonies, they dispensed with the body, they got rid of it, they burnt it.
When another disciple threatens to blow the whistle, the cover-up degenerates further into cold-blooded murder.
And then what happens is one of the people involved in this has a kind of qualm of conscience, and he eventually says, I've lost my faith, I'm going to go to the priest.
On's leader and his closest disciples have crossed over to the dark side.
He was strangled and his body cremated and the ashes flushed away.
No, I don't get $4. I have $4 in quarters or change. I can go see.
Hell no. Hell no. Keep all your change. They're about to
Before the gas attack on the Tokyo subway, most Japanese considered Om Shinrikyo as just another minor new religion, led by an eccentric but seemingly harmless guru, offering his followers an alternative way of living.
They didn't fit in the Japanese society. They didn't really fit in this kind of super consumerist type of society. They wanted something that was quite clear and what they define as they were attracted by Asahara being a very good, they saw him as a very good teacher.
Om asked new devotees to prove their commitment by renouncing everything they had once held dear.
So they just gave up everything, their family, their belonging, their current employment, and live in communion with the organization.
To many Japanese, this breaking of family bonds was deeply disturbing.
もちろんこれ人によるけれど多かったのはやっぱり娘や息子がなんか惑わされてついていかれたみたいなふうに思ってる人もいるけれど、まあ親との不和が理由な人ももちろんいるでしょうけど、親ともうまくいってるし家庭も円満だし、将来も約束されてるけどやっぱりこれはなんか違うってことで宗教の叩いたって人もいるし、それは様々です。
Some parents feared what was happening to their children behind Om's closed doors.
つまり彼らの目に届く情報っていうのは非常に歪曲している、あるいは特殊なオウムの都合いい情報をバカにしていた。でそして知り合えるメンバーたちは全部朝原を崇拝している、同僚ないし、先輩に当たるような仲間、信者たばっかりの中で暮らしているということが大きい。
Parents were disturbed to learn that Om devotees were encouraged to wear the Perfect Salvation Initiation Unit, a head cap linked to electrical cables, which Asahara claimed would allow his brainwaves to enter their brains. Om disciples were also encouraged to experiment with illegal mind-altering drugs to help them reach a higher state of consciousness. One group of anxious parents hired lawyers to investigate Asahara and Om.
最初は得意なというか変わった説法をする教祖の新興宗教 団体というぐらいの認識で、危険だっていう意識はあんまりなかったと思います。
Kojima was persuaded to take a closer look at Arm by his fellow lawyer Sakamoto, who wanted to challenge Asahara's claims of supernatural powers.
例えば、オウム真理教が京都大学で調べたら、教祖の DNA に秘密があることが分かったというような宣伝をしていたんですが、それは坂本君をはじめとして、彼、弁護団を組んだんですけど、京都大学に問い合わせをして、そんな研究をしたことはないですという回答を得たり。
Now, Asahara was at risk of public ridicule.
親たちとか、出家してしまった子供の家族の相談も寄せられるようになって、そういう、霊感商法というか、詐欺的なこともやっているということもつかんでいって、そういう意味で、そういう科学的な根拠もない高額なお布施を要求するとか。
But while attempts were made to raise the alarm about what was really going on inside Om, the police, scarred by Japan's post-war history, were reluctant to intervene.
1945, when Japan surrenders, it comes under occupation government. A new constitution is developed, which has got embedded in it the concept of freedom of religious belief and the principle that the state cannot interfere in the religious world.
This police fear of being seen to harass new religions left Om's critics like Sakamoto exposed to danger. November 4th, 1989. Asahara sends a four-man team of his closest disciples to deal with Sakamoto. The Om hit squad break into his apartment in the middle of the night and seize Sakamoto, along with his wife and 14-month-old son. When Sakamoto fails to turn up for work, his friends grow anxious.
そこで夜に坂本君のお母さんにも来ていただいて、合鍵を開けて中に入って、それで部屋の様子を見たんですが、例えば1歳の赤ちゃんの達彦君の産い紐がそのままになってたり、食事の後の食器が流しにまだつけたままになって、もう普通に暮らしてポッといなくなっている感じなんですよ。
Sakamoto and his wife were abducted, poisoned, and then strangled by the Om killers. Their baby son was suffocated. The bodies were then mutilated to make identification more difficult. The bodies were buried separately in remote rural locations. They were not found for another 6 years, until after the subway attack. Even though they knew that Sakamoto had been threatened by Om in the past, the police failed to connect Asahara and his disciples with the abduction.
その彼が遺体の埋めるところにも関わってますね。ですからその彼の居場所はどこなのかっていうことをちゃんと調べてですね、いろいろ事情を聞くと、そしてその物的証拠も調べると、こういうようなことをしてればですね、この段階で、その犯人逮捕に結びついたのではないか。
Despite the disappearance of the Sakamoto family and the growing rumors of other sinister activities, Om still wanted to present an innocent image to the outside world. In 1990, Asahara decided to raise Om's profile by entering Japanese politics.
They didn't have a political manifesto. They talked about the end of the world coming and the need to do meditation and stuff like that. And Shoko, Asahara Shoko, the guru, had the message of truth, and if everybody joined on, then everybody would be saved. And they went around chanting songs of praise to Asahara.
Asahara told his followers they were sure to be victorious. The voters were not convinced.
And of course, nobody would think they were going to vote for them. They were just laughing at them. And then Abraham was portrayed also in the media. It was obnoxious and ridicule, and nobody took it really seriously, and the failure was massive.
But if the outside world was laughing at him, Asahara was now deadly serious.
They saw from late 1990 onwards the world had rejected the truth. So they've rejected the truth, they must be punished. So that's when they start thinking that the only way to purify the world is to get rid of most of the population. It's the salvation of the worthy few.
If the outside world would not embrace Om, Asahara told his followers he had reached a stark conclusion. In order to save mankind, all non-believers would first have to die.
1986.
Do you know what's really fun? Making a website on this.
Hey, we're How Ridiculous, 3 childhood friends and digital content creators that do epic stuff from Perth, Australia.
We've got about 50 million followers. We're in the billions of views. And we're a small team. But we always felt like our content was all about entertainment and being fun, but there was also this, sort of professional business side. One of the things that we knew was basically essential was getting our own website, so people would actually see a proper official group who mean business and who can deliver. And we now get unbelievable opportunities to do things like film balloon popping races with Manchester City. I don't know all the things that we're going to get to do in the next year or 5 years. If we can do this as a job, anything's possible.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're again. Oh, okay.
No, me and Julie had Atari.
At the start of the 1990s, Om Shinrikyo seems to turn its back on the